How you doing there, folks? Baters here with another video for you all. Today, we're going to look at the Enclave in Fallout 76. Who are they? Why are they in West Virginia? And most importantly, what makes their floppy titties bounce up and down? Now remember, if you like this video, be sure to tickle that like button, because if I get enough likes on this video, maybe my wife won't leave me and take the kids. Now go ahead and finger bang a donut hole, and let's get to average baiting, baby! Now, the Enclave are one of several factions in Fallout 76. The Enclave is also a major faction in the Fallout universe, and one of the major antagonists that plague Fallout's dystopian future. The Enclave claims to be the legally sanctioned pre-war government of the United States. Now, the key word there is claims. I mean, I can dress up like a Girl Scout all I want and claim to be part of the troop, but that doesn't mean anyone's gonna buy my cookies now, does it? No, it does not. I didn't sell one goddamn cookie. I did, however, get hit in the face with a water balloon, and it hurt really bad. However, the Enclave still refers to themselves as the United States of America, even though the concept of government is all but lost in the Fallout universe. Now, prior to the nuclear holocaust, the organization existed as a cabal of top-ranking political, scientific, and military officials that secretly controlled the United States as a sort of shadow government. Basically, the Enclave is like the Illuminati, except instead of having members like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, they chose members that could actually read and write, making the Enclave a formidable and influential force. Now, the Enclave is primarily comprised of ancestral descendants of both the organization's original members, most notably the last president of the United States before the Great War, and representatives of powerful corporations that work closely with the United States government, such as Vault-Tec and Poseidon Energy. Basically, if you weren't rich, corrupt, and covered in shame, you just weren't getting in. I mean, they probably celebrated getting in the Enclave by throwing stacks of money at each other and riding around on endangered animals. You know, rich people shit. Now, the Enclave takes pride in being the last known concentrated bastion of pure, unmutated humanity, aside from the unopened vaults, and being the most technologically advanced faction in the Wasteland. They are most notably known for their understanding and acceptance of others. I'm just kidding. They kill you just for breathing funny. Oh my god, kill it! Now, as a result of such an attitude, the Enclave are incredibly isolationists, never taking in new recruits from the outside. The Enclave thus is faced with an even graver shortage of manpower than the Brotherhood, but they make up for their lack in numbers with their formidable technology. Innovative trinkets like the XO1 power armor, the Gauss rifle, and the rechargeable dildo are all gems that the Enclave gifted to the world, and that third one got me through some really rough times. Now, because of the effects of radiation and the forced evolutionary virus on the people of the Wasteland, most members of the Enclave generally do not consider them to be completely human anymore, often attacking them on sight. I mean, I once saw a guy in real life that didn't look completely human. I didn't judge. I just said, "Hey, buddy, are you completely human?" And you know what he said to me? He said, "Gobble, gobble, gobble," and he ran off. Apparently, he was a turkey the whole time, and I didn't notice because I was really drunk. Years later, me and the turkey are still lovers. I mean, it loves me in ways that only a barnyard animal can, you know? I'll give you a hint. It's butt stuff. So Wastelanders and mutated creatures, like the various generations of super mutants and ghouls, are considered by the Enclave to be abominations that are at best to be used as conscripted assets or slaves, and at worst, eradicated so that true humanity could take its place as the real nation of America. Is it just me, or does anyone else get a real murdery vibe from the Enclave, you know? I mean, every time I think of the Enclave, I just think of an evil fantasy stepmother. You know, the kind of stepmother that'll just dick kick Cinderella's magical squirrel friends right out the window, and then Cinderella would be left going to the ball in a tattered, unfinished dress, probably covered in shit. And Prince Charming would overlook her on account of the fact that she looks like she's got jellyfinger, swamp ass, and possibly vaginitis. Oh my god, what is that fucking smell? It's Cinderella. Your Majesty, it's Cinderella. That's that smell, okay? Apparently her little fantasy creatures couldn't help her finish the dress, and she's covered in shit. She's covered in shit! Now, the Enclave government is headed by a president, and according to the speeches made on the Enclave radio, there is some form of Congress as well. Basically, the Enclave is a bunch of corrupt bureaucrats with laser bazookas. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? Now, the Enclave scientists continue to research improvements in armor and advanced prototype weapon technologies after the war, and are better equipped and trained than other known organizations in the entire wasteland. Now, the Enclave had also managed to gain access to one of the last known supplies of fossil fuel in the post-nuclear world, which is used to supply fuel for their vertibird transports. Which means they probably get all the chicks, because let's face it, chicks dig vertibirds. I mean, can you blame them though? I mean, my bird definitely goes vertical just thinking about them flying around and shit. Now, one of the very few old world organizations to survive the Great War, the Enclave finds its roots in various branches of pre-war American government and military. Its founding members embraced the inevitability of nuclear war. They believed that the majority of the nation could not and would not survive it. But as long as the important people of the United States survived, they could regroup quickly when worse came to worse, ultimately wipe out communism once and for all, and restore and rebuild the country. Now, rebuilding is tough, though. I mean, I once watched a kid try to rebuild a sandcastle over and over and over again with little to no success. Yes, it probably would have been a lot easier for the kid if I wasn't standing there kicking sand in his eyes. But how's he gonna learn that the world's tough if someone's not showing him, you know? Was it my kid? No. But it was a kid at the beach, and kids need to learn lessons. Though not part of the Enclave, many influential corporations, most infamously the Vault-Tec Corporation, lobbied for benefits that they hoped would result from government-sanctioned war contracts. Based in many of the Enclave's research facilities, most were either protected and preserved or partially grazed and excommunicated during the nuclear firestorm of 2077. In 2073, as the global race to exploit the handful of remaining natural resources reached its most fevered peak, the United States managed to stake a claim on the entire world's last known supply of crude oil, buried thousands of feet beneath the Pacific Ocean. Poseidon Oil, which in the years leading to the war became the world's leading monopoly on the remaining oil reserves, was contracted to build an oil rig and quickly extract the invaluable precious oil. The world had gone to shit, and Poseidon was milking that titty right to the last drop. Can you blame them, right? Milking that ocean titty? Yeah, fucking guys. Finally, and relatively early in the fateful year of 2077, with the nation ultimately heading directly for nuclear devastation, the President of the United States and various other members of the continuity of government fell back to multiple, secretive, heavily fortified locations all around the continent. Many members of the Enclave retreated to these remote locations in other parts of the world, but when the bombs began to drop, they lost communications with the main group that was to be headquartered at the Poseidon oil rig in the Pacific Ocean, from which the United States would continue to exist and wage war on China with the eventual goal of retaking and restoring the continental United States and wiping out communism forever. As the world burnt in nuclear hellfire and the United States with it, its president and the Enclave, remnants of the now pre-war American government, assumed the positions they had predicted, as the last known organized fragment still representing their nation. So what happened to the Enclave in West Virginia, you might be wondering? Only 25 years after the bombs dropped, what happened to all the members? Well, before the Great War, the Enclave devoted a considerable amount of resources to the Congressional Bunker Project. Vault-Tec Corporation was principally involved in the bunker's construction beneath the White Springs Resort in West Virginia, and the Department of Agriculture was used to cover up the purchase and transportation of shipments of high-tech machinery and weapons, including the artificial intelligence MODUS for the bunker. Now, what in the slippery Jesus is MODUS, you ask? Well, MODUS, aka the Multi-Operation Direction and Utility Systems, is an artificial intelligence that commands the Eastern Commonwealth Enclave. It is displayed on small terminal stands in different places across the bunker, displaying that of a middle-aged human male with sharp features and wearing spectacles. MODUS looks a little strange. He looks a little creepy, you know? I think it's safe to say that MODUS looks like the kind of guy that wears really tight underwear and puts lipstick on his hairless gerbil. You know, he's the kind of guy that never gets invited to the party, but somehow always shows up, doing creepy shit like humping the flower pots, or spanking a live orangutan, or showing people pictures of his cats, which he refers to as his children, which is creepy as fuck. Now, MODUS can show a variety of emotions by changing the face displayed on the terminal, as one might expect from a face. Honestly, it'd be weird if they gave him a face that never changed its expression. That would just be really bizarre. Actually, it'd be a lot like my ex-girlfriend during sex. I mean, she never changed her facial expressions, or moved really for that matter. So eventually, yes, we did break up. Not because she was terrible in the sack, no, but because someone actually poked a hole in her, and she deflated right there in my arms on the subway. It was a sad day for me. Sad, sad day. She was so young. Now, different terminals can be found around the bunker in specific wings, so that MODUS can have as wide a range of functionality as possible. Such terminals include information terminals, which give out information about the bunker or current tasks the player has been asked to perform, and item terminals, where it can sell weapons, apparel, and aid items, all at the low price of expensive. Now, MODUS was built specifically for the White Spring Bunker as a specialized support unit, its purpose being to meet everyone's needs within the bunker on command. Now, this includes everything from rudimentary tasks like taking out the garbage to more complex tasks like making me feel beautiful in ladies' underwear, you know? Certain U.S. Congress members, federal officials, and military staff who were part of the Enclave moved into the bunker shortly after the onset of the Great War, where they continued to observe the nation in complete secrecy. You know, watching the nation from the shrubbery through the bedroom window, the creepy bastards. Now, the former Secretary of Agriculture, Thomas Eckhart, assumed leadership after the death of the Secretary of Treasury. Since the connection to the Poseidon oil rig and Raven Rock was interrupted, his intention was to gain control of the nuclear missile silos to continue the war against China. Apparently blowing up the world wasn't enough for Thomas to just let bygones be bygones. Apparently someone in the Chinese government fired it in his Raisin Bran cereal or something, because he just wouldn't let it go. I mean, he was a rambunctious little secretary, man, up to all sorts of nefarious shenanigans. Now, with the Eastern Commonwealth Enclave under the control of Thomas Eckhart, who had rigged an emergency election to make himself standing president, MODUS followed multiple orders given by Eckhart. One such order was when Eckhart had a democratic vote held on whether the White Springs facilities and resources should be used for combating the threat of communism and enemies of America, until no enemies stood in their way, or whether his plans should not be executed at all. So basically, Thomas drank a bunch of crazy juice, and he just wanted to know who else was drinking the Kool-Aid. Now, those that supported Eckhart were ordered to go to the side of the room with the exit door, while those that were against the idea were to stand opposite by the far wall. Thomas and his constituents then skedaddled out of the room, so that Eckhart could give MODUS the order to seal the room and suffocate his opponents inside, which included all but one of the United States Armed Forces generals stationed in the bunker. It's like my dad always said, never trust a man who's best friends with a computered head or a man that has floppy nipples. Now, everyone thought he was going a bit crazy when he would scream that shit at the local park, but it's all starting to make sense now. It's all starting to come together. So Eckhart actually needed one of the generals to access the nuclear network and military wing of the bunker found in the command network. So he had General Harper, the only general who had voted with him, escorted around the bunker and monitored by MODUS at all times. He kind of put all his eggs in one general there, didn't he? Yes, he did. Now, Harper eventually suffered heavily from heart failure due to a dose of radiation poisoning, in which MODUS attempted in vain to shock the general's heart back to life. MODUS attempts were simply futile, and the general died soon after. I mean, maybe next time don't pick the general that sticks his face right against the microwave when he's waiting for his pizza pockets to be your MVP, bro. That's all I'm saying, you know? Now, in need of a general to fulfill his plans of basically continuing to blow up the world, Eckhart appointed a new one, promoting Colonel Ellen Santiago, by sending her to Camp McClintock to gain an automatic promotion to general, in which Santiago was disgusted, but nevertheless accepted the new promotion. At one point, however, she threatened to leave the bunker when she came back from Camp McClintock, after learning of how Eckhart wished to raise the DEFCON level by unleashing various creatures across Appalachia, which was necessary to his plan. Leaving the bunker would actually foil Eckhart's plans for good. So in response to this, Eckhart incapacitated Santiago with a knockout agent, putting her in an induced coma, allowing Eckhart to, in effect, use the general whenever he needed clearance to the nuclear network. Which is why you should never trust a guy holding a canister of knockout gas. I mean, I learned that lesson the hard way. I did. I thought it was just, I thought he was just being friendly. Boy, was I mistaken. Now, Santiago's subordinates soon found out about Eckhart's actions and formed a rebellion, in which they planned to blow up MODUS, as the AI was loyal to Eckhart, to halt any resistance from the bunker and escape freely. While the charges set on MODUS were detonated, MODUS was not destroyed, but instead a large part of its memory was severely damaged, causing parts of MODUS to go corrupt. To counter the attack performed on it, MODUS intentionally destroyed the weapons lab, releasing a toxin that entered into the air circulation of the bunker. MODUS promptly sealed all the exits of the bunker, leaving all the human inhabitants inside, including the now arrested Eckhart, to suffocate in the darkness. So long story short, the AI went full Skynet on everyone in the bunker, and they all fucking died. I can't say I didn't see that coming, though. I mean, are any artificial intelligent computers, do they ever turn out to not be homicidal? Name one talking computer that hasn't turned out to be completely homicidal. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. Now, the Enclave is an incredibly important faction in Fallout 76, especially if you want to launch a nuclear warhead from any one of the 3 pre-war nuclear silos located around the map. Launching nukes at the world space is a great way to get high-level loot in the game and progress through the leveling system, so it can be a very valuable asset to be able to launch nukes in the game. Now, the Enclave is like the big bad wolf of Appalachia. They will huff and puff and blow up your fucking camp if you chirp the wrong Enclave general. So being an Enclave general definitely has its advantages. Now, if you do want to join the Enclave, you'll have to first go to the abandoned waste dump located in the northeastern part of Appalachia, just above Harper's Ferry. Once there, you'll have to kill some Deathclaws, and you'll find a mission called Bunker Buster by locating a dead body with a holotape. Once you finish the mission, you'll then be able to access the secret Enclave bunker at White Springs. Once here, you'll have the option to rank up in the Enclave through various different missions and tasks. The final rank you'll be granted is General, and at the rank of General, you'll have access to multiple new items and abilities, from armor and weapon plans to the ability to access the nuclear silos to launch a nuke in the game, which is pretty fucking cool. Now, the Enclave are by far one of the most nefarious factions in the Fallout universe, and one of the only factions that could really exist when Vault 76 opens 25 years after the bombs have dropped. It's great Fallout 76 hits the nostalgia nail on the head by including the Enclave, and that the creators also give the game a reasonable backstory as to why the Enclave could exist in West Virginia at the time, and include the White Springs bunker in the Fallout lore. I really enjoy the Enclave in Fallout 76, from the secret bunker to the tech they bring to the world space. I hope they add more to this faction in the future, as it's really interesting to see the evil firsthand that led to the downfall of humanity in the Fallout universe. A depressing look at humanity, but also very fascinating in its own right. Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to bitch slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay, fuck. Just tell me when he's uploading. Fuck!
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. I hope to see you all again next time, and remember to keep on average baiting, baby.